Hello, hello, Kensington. How we doing today? My name is Jamie Boston, and I am just thrilled to be here with you all today. Thank you for coming out. Please enjoy and take your time to see all the vendors and all the tables we have set up. I know there's a lot of Juneteenth celebrations going on out there, but I think ours is truly unique. We have a beer and wine garden in the back. We're predominantly African-American or Black-owned businesses or local. Same thing with our other vendors. That's what's special about here. They're either Black-owned or they're local, so please support them. We have Baby Cat Brewery that's going to be back there. They got their own brewery here in Kensington. Please, go see them. We have Huck Spirits in the back. We have Black Viking Brewery, and we have Patuxent Brewery. So please check them out and taste what they have over there. We have great food from our food trucks, also very local, a little bit of everything. So try a little bit. Just take your time. We got 4 hours, so eat as much as you can. Please support them. And the talent that we have performing for you today is going to be incredible. So just sit back and relax. We also want to tell you about, we have Civil War reenactors. They're going to be setting up pretty soon. And it's very special, Black Civil War reenactors, both female and male. So take some time, talk to them, listen to how they say. They're going to do some live history portrayals, or living history they call it. And so you're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn about not only American history today, but also Maryland's history, as well as Kensington's history. So just take time to learn. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. I have a special few thanks that I want to give right off the bat. First and foremost, I want to give my neighbor, Delegate Emily Shetty, who, by the way, without her, we probably wouldn't be here, because she's the one that encouraged me to go ahead and do this. So thank you, Emily, for what you do and what you did for helping us get together. As well as Nate Engel. He also helped introduce me to the Racial Justice Committee. I don't know where Nate is right now, Councilman, but to you as well. And of course, RJC, and you're going to hear from them a little later on. I need to give a very special thanks to the town of Kensington, all right? They have done so much, more than what they even anticipated, so thank you, everybody. In particular, our town manager, Matt Hoffman, in the back. Carrie Ann Zintz, I don't know where Carrie Ann is. She's done all the published things you guys have seen, so thank you, Carrie Ann. Alex, been there right behind the scenes as well. Susan Ingalls, Shirley Watson, and Annie, I hope I'm saying right, Tumsamo. Am I saying that right? I'm sorry if I butchered it. And last but not least, our work crew. All these things you see set up here were by a fantastic crew, and they are Jason Swain, Pablo Oliva, Joe Natali, Jamie Sims. We couldn't do it with all these people, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And I don't know if the county executive is able to make it. He was talking about maybe coming. If he does, I guess we'll just interrupt a little bit later on. But with that said, I wanted to introduce you to the Honorable, the one and only, Mayor Tracy Furman.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the town of Kensington. Thank you so much for coming out here today. So thank you, Jamie, for the introduction, and thank you for bringing your idea to the town. It was our privilege to make this happen, and that this dream came true for our entire community. So thank you so much, of course, to our staff and to the volunteers, and there's just too many people to thank, but Jamie's caught most of them. And we're so happy to be here, and we have just such a gorgeous day. A little windy, but a gorgeous day. So it's my privilege to introduce our faith community, members of our faith community. As town of Kensington is a community that includes our faith leaders, which I'm going to be introducing. Each will have the opportunity to say a few words. So I want to introduce Dr. Patricia Allen. Dr. Allen is the pastor of St. Paul's United Methodist Church on Armory Avenue, and she is actually also my pastor, so I'm very pleased to introduce Dr. Allen.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and I offer these words. The burden of history attempting to be sanitized weighs heavy upon our collective conscience. The echo of voices that cannot be silenced reverberates throughout halls that should be just, and against hearts that need to be softened. Crying out for justice, striving to be heard above the cacophony of platitudes, pontifications, and empty promises. May we honor those whose sweat and blood has watered the earth by continuing the fight, refusing to concede, knowing that is our best hope for a different life for all of us. May we remain undeterred and even more determined to speak hard truths so that the living and dying of our elders has not been in vain.
Next, I want to introduce Freda Haynes from the Baja Faith. Freda is a town resident.
Thank you all and welcome. These are words of Baha'u'llah, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith. O children of men, know ye not why we created you all from the same dust, that no one should exalt himself over the other. Ponder at all times in your hearts how ye were created. Since we have created you all from one same substance, it is incumbent on you to be even as one soul, to walk with the same feet, eat with the same mouth, and dwell in the same land, that from your inmost being, by your deeds and actions, the signs of oneness and the essence of detachment may be made manifest. Such is my counsel to you, O concourse of light. Heed ye this counsel, that ye may obtain the fruit of holiness from the tree of wondrous glory.
Thank you, Freda. Next up is Rabbi Adam Rosenwasser from Temple Emmanuel. Temple Emmanuel is celebrating their 70th birthday here in Kensington.
Thank you, Mayor Furman. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and thank you for being here as we celebrate Juneteenth together. I'm just going to offer a short blessing that we read on Friday evenings and Saturday mornings before our Mi Chamocha prayer, where we pray for redemption for all people. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
Thank you, Adam. Next, I would like to introduce Reverend Norman Hall from the First Baptist Church of Kengar.
Good afternoon. Good to see everyone out here today. I think I'm here in part because I'm a preacher's kid just like Jamie, and so we want to thank Jamie for being an organizer of this event. They told us that we had 1 minute, so I left my manuscript in my pocket. If you'd like to hear a longer version, come see us at First Baptist Church of Kengar on Sundays at 11 o'clock. We're right down the street from the fire station. Let's celebrate Juneteenth, but also remember that it is a beginning and the work of freedom needs to continue. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Hall. Next is Reverend Adele Crawford from Warner Presbyterian Church. Good morning and happy Juneteenth. A part of the healing that we often forget is amends making. Yes, forgiveness is important, but if we do not do better, if we learn nothing from whatever crisis there may be, if we don't work to change our ways, what good is it? My colleague tells of an argument she was having with her 10-year-old son. I think it was about video game time. And he got so frustrated that he picked up his flip-flop and tossed it in the direction of his mother. It didn't hit her, but it did hit the guitar hanging on the wall right behind her, a beloved instrument of hers. Immediately, this 10-year-old dissolved into a puddle of tears and shame. Now, her instinct as a mother was to go over
and put an arm around him and comfort him and tell him it was going to be okay. But she realized that if she did that, he would never learn how to take responsibility for his actions. So instead, she knelt beside him. "I'm so sorry, Mommy," he said. "I know you are, and I forgive you. But I need you to make amends. I need you to show me that you know what you did was wrong and that you want to make it better." He wiped his tears and he said, "I'm sorry I got angry and threw my sandal, and I'm sorry that it hit your guitar and broke the string." And then he thought for a moment and he said, "To make amends, I think I could go and get the money from my piggy bank and go to the music store and buy you a new string. Mommy, could you drive me to the music store?" This Juneteenth celebration, this new legal holiday, is an important step in amend making for me and for people who look like me, especially in this country. But it is one step. May we continue to learn, to listen to those long silenced, to believe those who tell different stories than our own, and to take seriously our responsibility to make amends.
Thank you, Reverend Crawford. I also want to recognize Reverend Dr. Lucy Perez from the Lee Memorial AME Church of Kengar. She wasn't able to be here today, but she is just another member of our faith community that we want to recognize. I'm going to turn this now over back to Jamie, who's going to be our MC today, and I want to wish everybody a happy Juneteenth, and I hope you have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to be your part-time MC today. Next, we're going to bring up to the stage now Councilwoman Ann Lichter. But I've neglected to say, why are we here today? And I'm going to keep it short, but I just want to say this. When we think about tragedies like Buffalo, Uvalde, California, George Floyd, you name it, that's why we're doing this. We're here to reflect. First, I don't want for it to get lost. Juneteenth is a great celebration. It's a celebration of freedom. But let's not forget, we're here because of a horrible institution that this country once had. We're here to celebrate that is now over, but the battle is not over. So that's why we're here today, so that we can unite together. And I always believe that Kensington was a great place and that we can come together and help change this world. So that's why we're here. Again, I want to thank you. I'm going to bring Ann up, and then she's going to introduce our MC for the rest of the day. Thank you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Kensington's inaugural Juneteenth celebration. I just have to say that when we started the Racial Justice Committee back in September of 2020, I don't think we ever would have envisioned that we would be together on a beautiful day like this with so many of our neighbors and our friends and new friends that we're meeting. And I want to just say that that's just one example of what can happen when we decide to do something differently, when we decide to live differently. Because that was the story of the Racial Justice Committee. A group of us felt that we wanted to do more than go to marches and do more than put up signs that say Black Lives Matter. Those things are important, but we wanted to get together as a community and examine how we're living our own lives here in our own community. What is the land that we're standing on, and the stories of the people who have come here before us? How is that history a part of the world we're living in now? And so that's what we started to do. I encourage you to go check out the Kensington Racial Justice table in the back. You can learn more about our work and how to get involved. But I want to say, even more than getting involved with us, what I hope that happens today for everyone who is here to celebrate freedom, that you take time to do three things. One, I want you to meet someone new. Make a new friend or two today. Two, I want you to learn something. We have incredible historical groups and civic groups here who have turned out. Kensington Historical Society, the community of Kengar. We have our Civil War groups that Jamie mentioned, and so many more. So learn something today. And then finally, I want to ask you to do something. When you leave here today, I want you to think about what you're going to do differently in your life to help us work towards racial equity right here where we live. And I thank you all for showing up. Let's have a great day, and let's celebrate freedom. Sheila. And now I'm going to let Sheila Boston introduce herself because she's our host and MC. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy Juneteenth Day, everybody! We are going to celebrate. My name is Sheila Boston. I'm actually a lawyer by day. I am a litigation partner with a firm called Arnold and Porter. And and we are off on Monday. I just want everybody to know because we are celebrating Juneteenth at my firm. And I'm here today, though, as big sister of your coordinator, your founder, Jamie Boston, and I'm so excited to be here. So bless all of you. We're going to kick this off by me introducing someone very special to you. She is Miss Teen Maryland Sonia Krishnan. Oh, you're going to have to come over here with me. Sorry. Okay,
Hello.
So this is really exciting to me. I have to share with you. I was Prince George's County Miss Teen way back in 19 blah, 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 blah. And then I was third runner-up at the Maryland State Pageant. This young lady, however, won the whole shebang. Maryland, let's give it up for Miss Maryland, Miss Teen. Okay, do I pronounce it Sonia?
Yes.
Okay, Sonia, when did you win your pageant?
Well, I won my pageant about 3 weeks ago, so it was at the end of May. And that was actually only my second pageant. So my very first pageant was the Miss Teen Maryland organization.
Neat and exciting. Now, did you have a talent?
The Miss Teen organization does not actually have talent any longer, but however, we do have an interview portion and a platform. So my current platform is inclusion and equality. So a lot of my platform consists around the fact that I am the very first South Asian woman to ever be crowned as a representative of Maryland.
First, all right, wonderful. Now, are you in school?
I actually just graduated, but I will be attending NYU next year. And
Wonderful! Do you know what your major is going to be?
I plan to major in individualized media studies because I really want to go into a job working within the entertainment industry.
Okay, now this is important to our audience. From where do you hail?
Where do I hail?
Where are you from?
Oh, well, I live right up the street. So
Woo! She is Kensington native!
right here.
Wonderful. And then my final question to you is, what do you hope to do in the future?
Well, I really hope to use the platform that I gained by being a public figure and being in the entertainment industry to promote equality in entertainment, because growing up I didn't have a lot of representation of mixed race people and South Asian people in the media. So I really think it's important to use my platform to advocate for racial justice and to advocate for more inclusion across all media platforms.
So ladies and gentlemen, in October of this year, she will be competing for the Miss Teen USA pageant. She is your Maryland representative. Please give it up for Miss Teen Maryland, Sonia Krishnan.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Come meet her. Make sure you meet her, take some pictures with her, and congratulate her and cheer her on. Thank you so much.
You're
it's
welcome.
wonderful to have
Thank you.
All right. It is now time for some entertainment. We have a special group here today. It is called Sweet Something. Founded in September of 2018 by jazz vocalist Ariana Harbin, Sweet Something is a DC-based project that is ever-changing and growing. Retro, smooth, and timeless, Sweet Something was created by vocalist and frontwoman Ariana Harbin with the intention of bringing her favorite jazz tunes of yesteryear back to life. So, I want all of you to expect to hear some Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Sinatra, Nat King Cole, and more during the band's performance. The group has provided entertainment for various events in the DMV area, including weddings, corporate events and cocktail hours, charity galas, retirement parties, and more. And they've performed in venues like the Army-Navy Club, the DC Botanic Gardens, the Smithsonian American Art Museum, the Watergate Hotel, and many, many more. I need them to come on up on the stage. I'm almost done with your intro. So, whether you are hosting a speakeasy event, or just have a group of old-timey, like me, music lovers, Sweet Something would be happy to make your event even more special. At this time, I'd like for all of you to give a warm Kensington welcome to Sweet Something.
I got a man who's always late. Anytime we have a date, but I love him. Yes, I love him. I'm gonna walk right up to his gate, see if I can get it straight, 'cause I want him. And I'm gonna ask him, say, is you is, or is you ain't my baby? Well, the way you're acting lately makes me doubt. You is still my baby, baby. But it seems my flame in your heart's done gone out. When a fella is a creature that has always been strange, just when you're sure of one, you find he's gone and made a change. Now, is you is or is you ain't my baby? Well, maybe baby's found somebody new. Oh, is my baby still my baby true? Creature that has always been strange. Just when you're sure of one, you find he's gone and made a change. Now is you is, or is you ain't my baby? Well, maybe baby's found somebody new. My baby, still my baby true. Is a creature that has always been strange. When you're sure of one, you find he's gone and made a change. Now is you is, or is you ain't my baby? Well, maybe baby's found somebody new. My baby, still my baby true. Well, I hope my baby's still my baby true. Thank you so much. We're Sweet Something. My name's Ariana. This is Caleb on the keys, Ricky on the bass, and Aaron on the drums. Yeah, just kick back and relax. We're gonna play some more music for you. What a day it has been, what a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for that whole human race. Yes, it's almost like being in love. All the music of life seems to be like a bell that's ringing for me. And from the way that I feel when that bell starts to feel, why, it's almost like being, I swear I was falling. It's almost like being in love. What a day it has been, what a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. And there's a smile on my face for that whole human race. And it's almost like being in love. And all the music of life seems to be like a bell that's ringing for me. And from the way that I feel when that bell starts to feel, why, it's almost like being, I swear I was falling. It's almost like being in love. Thank you very much. It's a bit windy up here, isn't it? Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella, it is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. sun. Find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella, that it is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want to be your love, you must have showers. So when you hear it, don't it, run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Fly me to the moon, Boston. Thank you so much. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, please kiss me and fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Now keep on fucking with my Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand, darling. In other words, please kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, in other words, in other words, I love you. Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in a sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you miss me while I'm alone and me. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. Still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Just saying things. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in a sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of, well, dream of me. Well, to say night and night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you miss me while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. Still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Just say this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Yes. Dream a little dream of me. Yes. Dream a little dream of me. One more. Hallelujah, I love you so. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. We're gonna do one more song for you. We're gonna do, it's a little bit gospel-y. This is a Ray Charles tune that I like a lot. Happy Juneteenth. Let me tell you about a boy I know. He is my baby and he lives next door. Every morning before the sun come up, they bring me coffee in my favorite cup. That's how I know it, honey. In a war I know. Hallelujah, I love him so. When I'm in trouble, when I have no friends, I know he'll go with me to the end. Everybody asks me how I know it. I smiled at them and said he told me so. That's how I know it, honey. Oh yes, I know. Hallelujah, I love him so. And now if I call him on the telephone and tell him that I'm home alone, by the time I count from 1 to 4, I hear him on my door now. In the evening, before that sun go down, there ain't nobody else around. He kisses me and he holds me tight and tells me, baby, everything's alright. That's how I know it, honey. Oh, I know, hallelujah, I love him so. call him on that telephone and tell him that I'm home alone. By the time I count from 1, 2, 4, I hear him on my door now. In the evening, before that sun go down, there ain't nobody else around. He kisses me and he holds me tight. He tells me, baby, everything's all right. Now I know it, honey. Oh, I know. Hallelujah. I love him so. Yes. Hallelujah. I love him so. Hallelujah. Oh, I love him so. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Y'all, that was Sweet Something Jazz. We had on vocals Ariana Harbin. Give it up for Ariana. On the double bass, Ricardo, a.k.a. Ricky Herrera. On the keys, Caleb, and forgive me, your last name. Nye. Caleb Nye. And on the drums, Aaron Ivan. Oh, Howard graduate at that. Whoop, whoop. You know. All right. Thank you so much, Sweet Something Jazz. We have with us a very special treat. We are going to be hearing from Thelma Kelgati. She's a transplant from New Orleans, Louisiana. She's an educator who also writes poetry. She has spent 36 years in Africa, Togo, Kenya, Guinea, and Mali. She's been engaged in informal as well as formal education. She's worked with the Education Development Center, which is an international NGA. Now, she has worked on U.S. government contracts with Guinea and Mali, and I think it's important that you know she believes that the arts are important for us to enable us to deal with issues of racism, as they are mostly matters of the heart. So I am excited to present to you now Miss Thelma Kelgati. Give it up for her, y'all.
So, good morning, Kensington, or good afternoon, Kensington. I'm so excited and so happy to be here for this Juneteenth celebration at a time when the forces of darkness in our country are trying to erase our history, that Kensington has stood up and is acknowledging the past. That theme of acknowledging our past and charting our future really resonates. So I'm going to take you back with poetry, 2 poems by Robert Hayden that illustrate what we have been through. The first is entitled Middle Passage, and it describes the brutal and horrific journey across the Atlantic Ocean that slaves were forced to undertake. You remember that the journey, the Middle Passage, took between 2.5 to 3 months in conditions where people were packed like sardines in the holds of ships without any sanitary facilities, so you can imagine the filth and the horror of that journey. The poet Robert Hayden would say, it's ironic that the slave ships had names like Jesus and Estrella, which means star in Spanish, or Esperanza, which means hope in Spanish. He said they're bright, ironic names, like jest of kindness on a murderer's lips. Jesus, Estrella, Esperanza, mercy, sails flashing to the wind like weapons, sharks following the moans, this fever and the dying, horror the corpuscent and the compass rose, middle passage, journey through death to life upon these shores. 10th April 1800, blacks rebellious, crew uneasy. Our linguist says their moaning is a prayer for death, ours and their own. Some try to starve themselves, lost 3 this morning, leapt with crazy laughter to the waiting sharks, sang as they went under. Desire, Tartar, Adventure, Anne, standing to America, bringing home black gold, black ivory, black seed. Deep in the festering hole thy father lies, of his bones New England pews are made, Those are altar lights that were his eyes. Jesus, Savior, pilot me over life's tempestuous sea. We pray that thou wilt grant, O God, safe passage to our vessels, bringing heathen souls unto thy chastening. Deponent further saith that the Bella J left the coast of Guinea with cargo of 500 blacks and odd for the barracoons of Florida, that there was hardly room between the sweltering decks for even half the human cattle stowed spoon fashion there, that some went mad with thirst and tore their flesh and sucked their blood, that the captain and crew lusted with the comeliest of the savage wenches kept naked in the cabins, that there was one they called the Guinea Rose, and they cast lots and fought to lie with her, that when the boatswain piped all hands, the flames spreading starboard already were beyond control, the negroes howling, their chains engulfed in flames, that the burning blacks could not be reached, that the crew abandoned ship, leaving their shrieking negresses behind, that the captain perished, drunken with the wenches. Further Deponent saith not, middle passage, journey through death to life upon these shores. So this next poem, also by Robert Hayden, deals with the runaway slaves, because we know that the conditions, if the conditions on the boats coming over were horrible, the conditions of slavery, of actual slavery, were equally as horrible. We know, for instance, that the Black Code said specifically that if in the process of disciplining a slave, his master happened to kill him, it was not considered a felony. These were not human beings. This was property, to do with as you will, to separate mother from child and husband from wife. So that 70,000 at least were able to escape thanks to the Underground Railroad is no wonder. So this next poem is called Renegade. Runs, falls, rises, stumbles on from darkness into darkness, and the darkness thicketed with shapes of terror, and the hunters pursuing, and the hounds pursuing, and the night cold, and the night long, and the river to cross, and the jack-o'-lanterns beckoning, and blackness ahead, and when shall I reach that somewhere morning, and keep on going and never turn back, and keep on going. Renegade, renegade, renegade. Many thousands rise and go, many thousands crossing over. O mythic north, O star-shaped yonder Bible city. Some go weeping and some rejoicing, some in silks and some in shackles, some in coffins and some in carriages. Rise and go, or fare ye well. No more auction block for me, no more driver's lash for me. Renegade, renegade, renegade. If'n you see my Pompeii, 30 years of age, new breeches, plain stockings, nigger shoes. If'n you see my Anna, likely young mulatto, branded E on the right cheek, R on the left. Catch them if you can and notify subscriber. Catch them if'n you can. But it won't be easy now. They'll dart underground when you try and catch them. Plunge into quicksand, whirlpools, and mazes. Turn into scorpions when you try and catch them. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. North Star and Bonanza Gold, I'm bound for freedom. Freedom bound, and oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. Rises from their anguish and their power. Harriet Tubman, woman of earth, whip-scarred, a summoning, a shining, mean to be free. And this was the way of it, brethren, way we journeyed from Cape to Can, moon so bright and no place to hide. The cry up and the patter rollers riding, hound dogs belling in bladed air, and fear starts to mumble, never make it, Lord, we're never going to make it now. Hush that now. And she's turned on us, leveled pistol glinting in the moonlight. Dead folks can't jaybird talk, she says. You keep on going now or die, she says. Wanted, Harriet Tubman, alias the General, alias Moses, stealer of slaves, in league with Garrison, Alcott, Emerson, Thoreau, Douglas, John Brown, armed and known to be dangerous. Tell me, Ezekiel, oh, tell me, do you see Mailer Jehovah coming to deliver me? Hoodoo calling in the ghosted air, 5 times calling to the haints in the air, shadow of a voice in the scary leaves, shadow of a face in the talking leaves. Come a ride my train, and oh, that train, ghost story train, through swamp and savannah, moving over castles of dew, through caves of the wish, midnight special on a saber track, moving, first stop mercy and the last a hallelujah. Come a ride my train. Mean to be free. So we know that the theme for this says charting the future, and we know that although we've come a long way, although slavery was abolished, the anti-blackness that has been rampant in this country is very much alive. And we're still dealing with the issues related to systemic racism, to the issues that are in every sector of our life, in education, in health, in housing, in employment, in policing, and criminal justice. The program said I'm a poet. I'm not a poet. I'm an occasional poet. I write poetry every now and then when I'm deeply moved about something. And I was deeply moved, as many were, after the murder of George Floyd. And so this last poem I'm going to do is called We Black Mothers, We Fear for the Lives of Our Sons. And I want to say that it doesn't mean that we're not concerned about our daughters, but I think the black male represents for white America a red flag in so many ways and a sign of present danger. And so this poem is about that. We black mothers, we fear for the lives of our sons. It could be a casual walk in an unfamiliar neighborhood, or a run in the park, or a drive down a street, or a stance on a corner, or any insignificant gesture. It doesn't take much to grant license to kill, and we fear for the lives of our sons. Power and superiority unhinged, our shadow fears unleashed. How is it that we kill so easily, that the desire is not to protect, but to extinguish? Ahmaud Arbery, Antroni Scott, Trayvon Martin, Freddie Gray, Michael Brown, the list goes on. George Floyd the latest, but undoubtedly not the last. And we fear for the lives of our sons. Black lives, they do matter. They are some mother's son who has reared them and cared for them and loved them and doesn't want to see their blood splattered on the ground, their life force wasted after so many years of tender nurturing, and their hopes and their dreams. So we fear for the lives of our sons. From Eric Gardner's I Can't Breathe, New York, 2014, to George Floyd's I Can't Breathe, Minneapolis, 2020. How many have we lost? And how is it that there is no shame? How is it that there is no mercy, that you can so carelessly stamp out the life of some mother's son? 12-year-old Tamir Rice playing with a toy gun in a city park. We fear for the lives of our sons. We fear for the lives of our sons. Blacks, 3.5 times more likely to be killed by a policeman than whites. Black men, 6 times more likely to be incarcerated than whites. And what is the violation? The color of their skin. Can we write a new script? Can we turn the tide? Can we confront reality honestly? This has got to be a movement, not a moment. Whites, blacks, Asians, Hispanics, Native Americans, humans, all the colors of the race, human of course. The best beloved of all things in my sight is justice. So we will write a new script. We will turn the tide. And we black mothers will no longer fear when our sons merely walk in the streets. They will come home. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. All right, you've been sitting there for a minute. I need some interaction with you. So I'm going to do an old-time rap, and all you have to do is raise your hands and act like you're excited, okay? Okay? Let's try it. Raise your hands in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. And if you're having a really good time, somebody say, oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Kensington. We're here to celebrate Juneteenth. Calling reverb to the stage, calling reverb to the stage. Next, we have another wonderful act for you, a performance. I am now going to introduce a group of singers who are also from the Washington area. It's called Reverb. Reverb is an award-winning a cappella vocal group formed in 1991. Since then, Reverb has performed along the East Coast, East and Southern Africa, the Persian Gulf, and the Caribbean. I want y'all to welcome to Kensington none other than Reverb!
Hey, it's great to be here on this beautiful summer day that feels like a spring day. I was told our first song is our sound check. Ready? There's a train coming somewhere. There's a train coming somewhere. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. Boom, 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 boom. There's a train. Boom, 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 boom. There's a train. Boom, 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 boom. All aboard. There's a train. Get on board. All aboard. There's a train. Get on board. Come on, Prince. All aboard. There's a train. Get on board. All aboard. There's a train. Get on board. Jermaine. All aboard. Get on board. All aboard. Get on board. Here we go. There's a train coming somewhere down the track. The people who ain't ready need to step in back, 'cause this train has been running since time began, and it's running on the love of your fellow man. All aboard. All aboard. Get on board. All aboard. All aboard. Well, you better get on board. All aboard. All aboard. Well, you better get on board. All aboard. All aboard. Get on board. People, get ready. This train is moving to Jordan, and it's picking up passengers coast to coast. Faith is the key. It keeps those diesels humming, and you don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. I believe. I believe. I believe. One day the world. I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe. One day this world. I believe. I believe. You see, there ain't no room for the hopeless sinner, one who would hurt all mankind just to save his own. We should have pity on them, 'cause their chances grow thinner. There's no hiding place against the kingdoms to run. All aboard! All aboard! Get on board! All aboard! All aboard! Get on board! You see, there's a train coming, get on board! Hey, you people, the women, get on board! 'Cause this train has been on, get on board! And it's all aboard, get on board! Fellow man, all aboard, get on board! 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 People get ready, there's a train coming. You don't need no ticket, you just get on board. All you need is faith to keep the diesel running. You don't need no baggage, you just thank the Lord. Come on, come on, come on, get on board. All aboard, get on board. You better get on board. All aboard, get on board. All aboard, get on board. All aboard. You better, you need to, you gotta, you better. You better just get on board. All right. What's up, Kensington? We're so happy to be here. The first song you just heard is People Get Ready. It was written by the late, great Curtis Mayfield, and it was considered one of the songs from the Civil Rights Movement. The arrangement that you heard is a pumped-up arrangement by a a cappella group called the Persuasions. That's where we learned it from. But the name of that song was People Get Ready. We're going to sing a few songs from the Civil Rights Movement in honor of Juneteenth. And we're also going to sing a few contemporary songs. If you hear anything that you know, we welcome you to sing along. If you want to get up and move around, that's all right too. But we just want to make sure that you enjoy yourselves as we reflect and celebrate. We're marching on. Oh, we're marching on. We're marching on to freedom land. Freedom land. We're marching on. We're marching on to freedom land. That's our strength from day to day. From day to day. As we walk the narrow way. The narrow way. We're going forward. We're going forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. One day we're gonna be free. One day we're gonna be free. We're marching on. We're marching on to freedom land. To freedom land. We're marching on. We're marching on to freedom land. God's our strength from day to day. From day to day. As we walk the narrow way. The narrow way. We're moving forward. We're going forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. One day we're gonna be be free.
One day we're gonna be free.
We're marching on.
We're marching on
to freedom
to
land.
freedom land.
We're marching on.
We're marching on to freedom land.
God's
God's our strength
from day to
from
day.
day to day.
As we walk
the
narrow
the
way.
narrow way.
We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're moving forward.
We're going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're moving
We
forward.
are going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're moving
We are
forward.
going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're moving
We are
forward.
going forward.
We're going forward.
We're moving forward.
We're moving forward.
One day we're gonna be free.
One day we're gonna be free.
Yeah, we're marching on to freedom land. A lot of the songs that we're going to do were songs that people sang at rallies. They sang at churches. They sang while they marched to encourage each other and to let each other know, okay, I'm still here. I'm still with you. I got your back. We're going to keep this thing going. We're going to keep this freedom train moving forward. So we sing these songs to pay homage to the folks who came before us, but also for us today, because we too need some encouragement.
Oh, freedom.
Oh, freedom.
Oh, freedom.
Oh, freedom
Over me. And
before I be a slave,
I'll
I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free.
I pray,
God Almighty,
oh God,
God Almighty,
oh God,
God Almighty,
God Almighty over me, and
before I be a slave,
I'll be
buried in my
and go
grave
home
and go home to my Lord and be free.
Same old sunshine,
Same old sunshine.
same old sun,
Same old sunshine.
same old
Same
sunshine,
old sunshine
over me, and
before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my
and go
grave and go
home
to my Lord
Lord.
and be free.
And
before I be a slave,
I'd
be buried in my
and go
grave
home
and go home to my Lord and be free.
Well, you know, I woke up this morning with my mind
Stayed on freedom.
Yeah, you know, I
Woke up this morning with my mind.
it was.
Stayed on freedom.
You know, I
Woke up this morning with my mind.
stayed on freedom.
Stayed on freedom.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Oh, you know, I woke up this morning with my mind. My mind, it was.
Stayed on freedom.
morning with my mind it was
Stayed on freedom.
You know I woke up this morning with my mind it was
Stayed on freedom.
Oh, hallelujah,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah. Come on and walk, y'all, walk. Come on and walk, walk. Come on and walk,
walk. With your mind on
come
freedom.
on and walk, yeah.
Walk, hey,
with your mind,
walk, with your mind on freedom. Walk.
I was walking and talking with my mind it was
stay on freedom.
I was walking and talking with my mind it was stay on freedom. I was walking and talking with my mind, stayed on freedom.
On freedom.
Oh, hallelujah,
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 hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I was walking and talking with my mind it was.
Stayed on freedom.
I was walking and talking
with my mind.
Stayed on freedom. I was walking and talking with my mind. Stayed on freedom.
Stayed on freedom.
Oh, hallelujah.
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 All right, y'all doing all right out there? All right, all right. You know, every now and then we got to look at each other to make sure, you know, we're still here together.
Yes. This is no band, it's just us.
Okay, mentally and musically. But it's all good. All right. So, yesterday, June 17th, was the 50th anniversary of the Watergate break-in. You heard about that on the news? So last night, CBS did a documentary about the Watergate break-in, the 5 burglars, and the whole story, which, you know, ultimately led to the resignation of President Richard Nixon. Frank Wills was a security guard, 24 years old, African-American, and he discovered the break-in at the Watergate Hotel, which led to the investigation and the hearings and the ultimate toppling of Richard Nixon. I watched the 2-hour documentary, and it mentioned all of the key figures, but did not mention Frank Wills, the security guard, the African-American who discovered the break-in. So I say all that to say to you that we are here to celebrate freedom and to celebrate justice, but we still have some work to do when it comes to acknowledging history and those who participated in history. And as long as we are in a position to name names and to give honor, we need to make sure that we do what we can to honor all of those who should be honored, regardless of their race, their age, their gender, their sexual orientation. So we're going to sing this song in honor of Frank Wills. This is called Eyes on the Prize. You know, the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Well, you know, the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, come on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. No money to go there, baby. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Well, I got my hand on the gospel
take nothing for my journey now. Keep your
Eyes on the prize.
Well,
Hold on, hold on,
hold on.
hold on, hold on.
Keep your
Eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on.
freedom's name is mighty sweet. So one day we're gonna meet. Keep your
Eyes on the prize.
You gotta
Hold on, hold on.
Well, I never been to heaven, but I've been told streets up there are paved with gold.
Eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on,
Hold on.
hold on, hold on.
Keep your
Eyes on the prize.
You gotta
Hold on,
hold on.
hold on,
Hold on.
hold on, hold on.
Keep your
Eyes on the
You
prize.
gotta
Hold on,
hold on.
hold on.
I said do 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 Hold on.
Hold on, hold on. Eyes on the prize. Hold on,
You gotta
hold on,
hold on.
hold on, hold on.
Keep your
Eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold
You
on,
got to hold on.
hold
You
on,
got to hold on.
hold
Don't you
on,
let nobody turn you around.
hold on,
Hold on.
hold on, hold on,
Hold on.
hold on.
Right now. Na 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 na. Let us hear you. Na 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 na.
Freedom.
Na na na.
Keep it coming.
Na 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 na.
Freedom.
Na na na.
Keep it coming.
Na 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 na.
Freedom.
Na na na.
Keep it coming.
Na 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 na.
Freedom.
Na na na.
Keep it coming.
Na na na.
Freedom.
Na na na.
Keep it coming.
Na 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 na.
Freedom.
Na na na.
Keep it coming.
Na 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 na.
Freedom.
Na na.
Keep it coming.
Na 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 na.
Freedom
over me.
Keep it coming.
Na na na.
Freedom.
Na na.
Keep it coming.
Na 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 na.
Freedom
over me.
Keep it coming.
Over my head.
Freedom.
Na na.
I hear music in the air.
Na na.
Keep it
Over
coming.
my
Freedom.
head. Na na na.
I
Keep
hear
it coming.
music
Na na
everywhere.
na na.
Keep
We're
it coming.
talking about
Justice.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Freedom. Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Liberation. Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Justice.
Freedom.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Equality.
Freedom.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Freedom.
Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Freedom. Keep it coming. Freedom. Keep it coming.
Yes. That's just an original. We call that freedom. Keep it coming. So we're going to take a second now. The name of the group is Reverb. That's R-E-V as in victory, E-R-B as in baby. That's who we are collectively. Individually, my name is Steve Langley.
My name is Christopher Prince.
I am Jermaine Drakeford.
My name is Chris Hunter.
This next song is another original song. Doom doom doom. Doom doom doom. Doom doom doom.
As you all know, we have been experiencing a spate of gun violence. I wrote this song back in the 90s when gun violence was happening then in communities across America. And we're still singing this song today because gun violence keeps happening. This song is called Sometimes the Innocent Die.
Preachers preach, mothers weep. Teachers at risk trying to teach. Sitting safe in your home. Bullet comes and then you're gone.
Sometimes the innocent
die.
Innocent die. Sometimes the innocent.
Why do they die?
The innocent die. Sometimes the innocent. The innocent die. Caught in the crossfire.
Caught in the crossfire. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. News reports just released. Have you heard the news? What we need is more police. More police. Stiffer laws, bigger jails. Bless the day when peace prevails.
Sometimes the innocent
die.
Innocent die. Sometimes the innocent. The innocent die. Sometimes the innocent. The innocent die.
Caught in the crossfire. Caught in the crossfire. Sometimes the innocent die.
Innocent
Why
die.
do they
Sometimes
die?
the innocent.
Why?
Innocent die. Sometimes the innocent.
Why do they die?
The innocent die.
Caught in the
Caught
crossfire.
in the crossfire.
Oh,
Mother.
somebody's mother.
Father.
Somebody's father.
Sister.
Sister.
Brother.
Oh, my brother.
The life they had.
The life they had
is in the past.
is in the past. When all is said and done.
Sometimes the innocent.
The innocent die.
The innocent
Why
die.
do they
Sometimes
die?
the innocent.
The innocent die.
Innocent
Why
die.
do they
Sometimes
die?
the innocent.
Innocent die.
Innocent
Why
die.
do they
Caught
die?
in the crossfire.
Caught in the crossfire.
Sometimes the innocent.
The innocent
Come on.
die.
Innocent
Why
die.
do they
Sometimes the
die?
innocent.
The innocent
Oh,
die.
Lord. Innocent
Why
die.
do they
Sometimes the
die?
innocent.
Oh,
The innocent die.
caught in the crossfire. The innocent die. Every time I turn on my TV, I hear the same old sad news.
The innocent die.
Time I turn on my TV, I hear the same old sad news. The innocent die.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for listening. The name of the group is Reverb, and there's more this afternoon.
Yes, give it up for Reverb. Weren't they awesome? Acapella award-winning vocal group right here from D.C. Okay, so I have been told that we have a celeb in the house, another celeb. I know there are a lot of them out there. But our Montgomery County executive is here. Mark Elridge, where are you? Can you raise your hand? Mark Elridge. There he is. Y'all give it up for our county executive. Thank you for being here for our Juneteenth celebration. And thank you for the county being a sponsor. God bless you. All right, do I have any Wizards fans in the house? Any Wizards fans? All right, well, we have another celeb here. You just never know who you run into. So, you know, I have my baby brother, Jamie Boston, who coordinated this. But then I have, you know, the Play Brothers, as they say, and his college roommate is here. I consider him one of my younger brothers. Give it up to the head coach for the Washington Wizards, Wes Unseld! Woo! The Wizards are in the house, y'all. Okay, we are now ready for our next group. We have with us a gospel group. They came down the street a bit from Annapolis, Maryland. This group has been together for over 30 years. And frankly, they said they just want their music to speak for itself. But I have to give a shout out to the Reverend J.R. Pinckney, who is the leader of the group, and they are called Voices of Judah!
Everybody, come on, clap your hands, everybody. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Amen. I just want to say we were introduced, and firstly, thank you for letting us come and be a part of this great celebration. And we were introduced earlier as a gospel group, as a gospel choir. Gospel is good news. Everybody say gospel is good news. Come on, y'all can say it better than that. Gospel is good news. And I want you to know something today. The good news for us and for everybody that listen under the sound of my voice is Jesus Christ. Let's put it out there. That's what it is. Because I'm going to just say it this way, and then we'll go right into the service, if you will. I understand why we're celebrating. I appreciate all the forefathers. I appreciate the Rosa Parks. I appreciate the ones that came before us that paved the way. But before all of them came, there was a man named Jesus that came first. And if it were not for him, we would not be here today. Believe it or not, he is Lord. He is Lord. And if it were not for him, where would we be today? That's where we stand. That's my beliefs. I'm sticking to it. I know that's right. Listen, do me a favor, if you will. Jesus is the reason that we're here today, and he is the one that protects us. He keeps us in our right minds. He is a protector. So we're going to celebrate just that for a minute. Everybody just do me a favor, if you will, and just lift your hand for me real quick and say, Jesus, come on, be a fence all around me every day. Come on, let's try it one more time. Jesus, be a fence all around me every day. Come on, clap your hands as we go.
Come on, clap your hands with me. Come on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen. Jesus, be a friend. I'm asking you to protect me as I travel. Hey, I know you can. I know you will. Fight my battles. Just keep still. Say, Lord, be a friend all around me. Let me say one more time, Jesus, be a friend. I'm asking you to protect me as I travel. Hey, I know you can, and I know you will. Fight my battles, just keep protection, 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 along the way. Direction, 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 along the way. Protection, direction, strong tower, along the way, along the way, along the way, along the way, along the way. Be a fence. I said be a fence. I said be a fence right now. I said be a fence. Listen, hey, protection, 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 along the way. Direction, 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 along the way. I need you to guide me, stand by me, along the way. I need you to guide me, stand by me, along the way, 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 along the way. Be a fence. I said be a fence. I said be a fence. I said be a fence right now. I said be a fence. 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 Listen, I know you can. I know you will. Fight my battles if I just keep still. Say, love be a fence all around every day. Hallelujah. Be a fence all around me every day. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Come on, clap your hands again, everybody. Oh, my God. Hallelujah. Jesus, we serve you because you are good and your mercy endures forever. We also bless the Lord because he's a miracle worker. Everybody say miracle worker. Come on, say it again, miracle worker. Wonderful. Over 2 years ago, I was in intensive care, well, critical care. Just didn't know whether I was going to make it or not. But I am a miracle standing before you. So, life support. But God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can ask or think. Amen. And so I look for miracles every day. Amen. Everybody just lift your hand one more time for me again. Say, I'm looking for a miracle. Come on, say it again. I'm looking for a miracle. All right, clap your hands again as we do this song with us. If you know it, come on. Come on, that's right. Clap with us. Come on, come on. Here we go. I'm looking for a miracle. Here we go.
I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible.
The sky is the limit. Come on, the sky.
The sky is the limit to what I can have.
Come on. The sky is the limit. Yeah.
The sky is the limit to what I can have.
Come on, how many believe that? The sky is the limit.
The sky is the limit
So what?
to what I can have.
Just believe and receive it. Just believe.
Just believe and receive it. God will perform it today. Just believe and receive it. God will perform it today.
Come on, let's do it again. I'm looking. Come on.
I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible.
That's it. She got it. She got it. Come on. I see.
I see the invisible.
Come on, I love it.
I'm looking for a miracle.
I expect.
I expect
to the sky. The sky is the limit. So what? Hey, just believe. Hey, just believe. Just believe. Right there, stay right there. Just believe. Just believe. Just believe. Believe everything. Come on, just believe everything. Just believe everything. Just believe everything. Come on, just believe. God will. God will perform it today. Hey, just believe everything. God will perform it today. Hallelujah. He is a miracle worker. Bless his name. Hallelujah. You know, when you look back on all that God has done for us and who he is, you can't help but love the Lord. Hallelujah. You cannot help but love the Lord. My mother used to say this before she passed away. She said, who wouldn't serve a God like this? Who wouldn't serve a God like this? One who is able to do all that we ask, can think. You can't even outthink God. And so that we love him. Just let's slow it down a little bit and just a minute and just let the Lord know how much we love him today. Hallelujah. This song is simple. I lift my hands in total adoration to you. You reign on the throne, for you are God and God alone. Because of you, my cloudy days are gone. And to you, I sing this song. I just want to say, I love you more than anything. Hallelujah. Let's do it right here. I live. Come on, say it if you know it with us. I live.
I lift my hands in total adoration unto you.
You reign.
You reign on the throne, for you are God and God alone. Because of you, my cloudy days are gone. I can sing to you this song. I just want to say that I love you more than anything.
Come on, it's simple. Let's do it again. I lift my hands. Come on. I lift
my hands in total adoration unto you.
You reign on the throne, for you are God and God. Come on, let's be a witness. Because of you, my clouds are gone. I can sing. I can sing to you this song. I just want to say that I love you more. Come on, one more time. Come on, one more time. Come on, one more time. I lift. Come on, lift your hands with us. I lift my hands in total adoration unto you. Lord, you reign. You reign on the throne. For you are God and God alone. Because of you, my cloudy days are gone. I can sing. I can sing to you this song. I just want to say that I love you more than anything. Come on, lift your voice as we say it together. Come on, say, I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus. Worship and adore you. Come on. I worship and just want to tell you, Lord, I love you, Jesus. Love you more than anything. Come on, come on. Say it again. Say, I love you, Jesus. I worship and adore you. I just want to tell you, Lord, I love you, Jesus. Lord, I love you more than anything, more than anything. Say it again. I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus. Lord, I worship and adore you. I worship and love you. Lord, I love you. Lord, I love you more, more, more than anything. Say it again. Lord, I love you. Lord, I love you more than anything. Lord, I love you. Lord, I love you, Lord. Love you more, more than anything. Come on, if you love him, clap your hands with us. Hallelujah. Thank the Lord. I can't make it without him. I can't make it without him. Hallelujah. I can't make it without him. This next song is very simple. It says, there is no way I can live without you. Hallelujah. We're talking to the Lord today. There is no way I can live without you. Scream it with me. Say, there is no way I can live without you. Come on, let's say it one more time. There is no way I can live without you. Come on, clap your hands, everybody. Thank you, Lord. Burdens are too much. Come on, say it with us. Burdens are too much. Burdens are too much. For me to bear. For me to bear. There is no way. There is. Come on, let's do it one more time. There is no way. There is no way. I can live. I can live without you. Come on, let's do it again as we sing to the Lord. There is no way. There is no way. I can go on. I can go on. Burdens are too much. Come on, say burdens are too much. Are too much. Testimony that I have tried. Come on, say it. There is no other way. Bless the name of the Lord. Hallelujah. I want to thank you again for allowing us to come and be a part of this great celebration. But just before we leave, I got to tell you one thing. And I have devoted my whole life to serving the Lord. Hallelujah. For the rest of my life, I'm going to serve the Lord. Because I'm telling you, other systems don't work. They fail. But the Word of God stands forever. That's the Bible. The Word of God will stand forever. And whether you believe it or not, I'm telling you, for the rest of my life, I'm going to serve God. Those of you that will believe it with me, just say, for the rest of my life, I'll serve Him. Say it again, for the rest of my life, I'll serve Him. Come on, clap your hands with us.
Come on, clap your hands like this. Yeah. Come on, if you enjoy yourself, just come on and clap your hands. If you believe for the rest of your life yourself, come on, stand to your feet and give God some praise. Come on. Come on, for the rest I'll serve Him. For the rest of my life, I'll serve Him. For the rest of my life, I'll serve Him. For the rest of my life, I'll serve Him. Been so good, yeah, set me free. For the rest, come on, we gonna say it again. Hey, for the rest, I'll serve Him. For the rest of my life, I'll trust Him. For the rest of my life, I'll serve Him. For the rest of my life, I'll trust Him. You know He's been so good. Yeah, set me free. For the rest, I'll serve. Come on, we gonna go one more time. For the rest of my life, I'll serve Him. Come on, for the rest of my life, I'll trust Him. For the rest of my life, I'll serve Him. For the rest of my life, I'll trust Him. You know He's been so good. Hey, set me free. Oh, come on. I'll serve. Come on, let's go home right here. I'll serve the Lord. I'll serve the Lord. I don't know about you, but I'll serve the Lord every day and every way. I will serve Him. Yes, I'll serve Him. I will serve Him for the rest of my life. I will serve Him every day. I will serve Him. I will serve Him. Will you serve Him? Yes, I'll serve Him. Come on, let's go. Oh, I'll serve Him. I will serve Him. I will serve Him every day without fail. I will serve Him. I will serve Him. Yes, I'll serve Him. Come on. Oh, I'll serve Him. Yes, I'll serve Him every day and every hour. He's been so good. He's been so kind. He's been a friend of mine. Yes, I'll serve Him. Yes, I'll serve him. Yes, I'll serve him. I will serve him. I'll serve him. Good to me. Yeah, yeah. For the rest of the Lord. I'll serve the Lord. I'll serve the Lord. I will serve him. Yes, I'll serve him. I will serve him every day and every hour. I will serve him. I will serve him. Been so good. Been so good to me. Yeah. God set me free for the rest of my life. I'll serve the Lord. Hallelujah. I'll serve the Lord.
All right, let's hear it for Voices of Judah. But don't go anywhere. All right, on Juneteenth, many people sing, Lift Every Voice and Sing, which has been called the Black National Anthem. It was written as a poem by NAACP leader James Weldon Johnson in 1900. His brother, John Rosamond Johnson, who lived from 1873 to 1954, composed the music for the lyrics. So at this time, I'd like for everyone to join in, and I'm actually also going to ask that you stand as we sing, Lift Every Voice and Sing. And I'm gonna ask Voices of Judah to start us off.
We have those papers. It's either the front or the back. All right, you ready, everybody? Here we go. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the rising skies. Let it resound loud as the voice.
you this is history. It's time to put on our thinking caps, our education caps. What you are about to see is a loose and brief reenactment of the announcement of the Emancipation Proclamation from the balcony of the Ashton Villa in Galveston, Texas. In June of 1865, more than 2,000 federal soldiers of the 13th Army Corps arrived in Galveston, and with them, Major General Gordon Granger, commanding officer, District of Texas. Granger's men marched through Galveston, reading General Order Number 3 at numerous locations, including their headquarters at the Osterman Building, 1861 Custom House Courthouse, and then the Negro Church on Broadway, as Reedy Chapel AME Church was referred to back then. The Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Abraham Lincoln on September 22nd, 1862 announced that on the first day of January AD 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state in rebellion against the U.S. shall be thenceforth, and forever free. However, it would take the Civil War and passage of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution to end the brutal institution of African American slavery. After the Civil War ended in April 1865, most slaves in Texas, believe it or not, were still unaware of their freedom. This began to change when Union troops arrived in Galveston, Texas. Major General Gordon Granger, commanding officer, District of Texas, from his headquarters in the Osterman Building, Strand and 22nd Street, read Order Number 3 on June 19, 1865. The order stated, "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all, and I repeat, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves." And now, a reenactment. Let me just add, you'll be hearing from FREED, F-R-E-E-D. It stands for Female Reenactors of Distinction. And they have a mission statement. It says, "It is our mission to educate the public and to promote the accomplishments of the African American Civil War soldiers and the women who supported their fight for freedom." They engage in reenactments, dramatic readings, and various other educational programs in order to share the stories of these distinctive men and women. The Female Reenactors of Distinction is a group of ladies who desire to teach American history that perhaps has been forgotten or overlooked by the public educational system, the theater and motion picture industry, and many, many social organizations around the country. Their organization came about in 2005 when they attended a meeting of the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C., for the explicit purpose of helping the African American Civil War Museum with their Founders Day celebration, May 19th through 2022.
My name is Hattie. I don't know how old I is, and I've long since forgot the name given to me at my birth. But one thing I do remember is the last time I saw my mama's face. She sent me to fetch water, and I never came back. I don't know how I survived that long voyage here. Many of us died. My first master told us slaves that we were brought here to toil for the white man. My second master told us we were his property and we had no rights that would be recognized in any court in the land. I have toiled from sunup to sunset. I done nursed all of their children. So what makes me so different? Ain't I a woman too? I see them beat as slaves and treat us worse than they treat their cattle. I done birthed 6 children since coming to this land, and all of them have been sold away from me. My youngest was no more than 6 years old when he was sold. I can still feel him clutching after me, hollering and screaming for help from Mama, Mama, please, Mama. Don't let them take me away. I couldn't do anything. It was just like when I hollered for my mama to help me all those years ago. Now, across this nation, the drums of war are beating. Sometimes I think about my boys, and I hope they've joined up with them blue coats and running them rebs to ground. For the first time, I feel like running, just running, seeking my freedom. Every place I've been sold, I couldn't choose my own name. And on this plantation, my name is listed as Harriet, right behind them horses and pigs they bought that day. When I wake up in the morning, I've decided to run for my freedom. And for the first time since coming to this land, I'm gonna choose my own name. And I've decided that my name will be Contraband of War. And they ain't gonna be no more auction blocks for me, no more peck of corn for me. But most of all, there ain't gonna be no more driver's lash for me. Thank you.
Squad, halt! Without doubling, left, face. In place, rest. The private and I are members of the United States Colored Troops. On January 1st, 1863, President Lincoln issued a proclamation. It was effective on that date,
and it freed all those enslaved people that were still in bondage in those parts of the United States that were then in rebellion against the United States. It did not free slaves that were in states that were not in rebellion. However, the state of Texas, where I currently stand, in the city of Galveston, should have been part of that proclamation, and those enslaved people should have been freed. And by law they were, but they did not know it. When the private and I were detached to the Department of Texas, we fell under the command of Major General Granger. And as part of our delegated duties, he assigned us to go forth and inform the good people of Texas, those who had been enslaved, that their chains were no more. For 2.5 years, the private and I toiled. 186,000 of us fought for the Union. And with the support of these lovely ladies who sewed up our wounds, healed us, fed us when we were wounded, we prevailed. And 2 months ago, the Army of Northern Virginia surrendered to General Grant. Shortly after that, the remaining Confederate Army in the field under General Johnston surrendered to General Sherman in Durham, North Carolina. However, the good people here in Texas were not so informed. I was lucky enough before the war to learn how to read. So General Granger, unlike many of my comrades who never had the chance to have an education, a chance that we anticipate taking place now, I was given this illustrious assignment, and I can forever thank the Major General for allowing me the pleasure of reading not only the proclamation to the people here in Galveston, but also the Emancipation Proclamation itself, so that there will be no question at the end of my remarks that all those enslaved people that had toiled their life away with no wages will no longer bear that burden. Please hear General Order Number 3. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. The freemen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere. This is derived from the executive order issued September 22nd, 1862, and effective New Year's Day, 1863, by the President of the United States of America, a proclamation, whereas on the 22nd day of September, in the year of our Lord, 1862, a proclamation was issued by the President of the United States containing, among other things, to wit, that on the first day of January in the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves within a state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall then, thenceforth, and forever be free. And the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authority thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons
and will do no act or acts to repress such persons or any of them in any efforts they may make for their actual freedom. That means that when my fellow bondsmen attempt to escape their holy hell, they will not be impeded by the military of the United States. That the executive will, on the first day of January aforesaid, by proclamation, designate the states and parts of states, if any, in which the people thereof, respectively, shall be in rebellion against the United States. And the fact that any state or the people thereof shall on that day be in good faith represented in the Congress of the United States by members chosen thereto at elections wherein a majority of the qualified voters of such state shall have participated. The most important part of the President's proclamation is as follows: that all those persons newly freed shall now be eligible to serve in the armed forces of the United States, to man forts, to man ships, and shall be paid at the same rate as any other United States soldiers. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my seal and caused the seal of the United States to be affixed, done at the city of Washington, this first day of January in the year of our Lord, 1863, of the independence of the United States, the 87th, by the President Abraham Lincoln, William H. Seward, Secretary of State. Attention squad. 3 chairs for President Lincoln and Secretary Seward. Hip hip, huzzah! Hip hip, huzzah! Hip hip, huzzah! And a tiger. Without doubling, left face. Forward, march.
When the Union Army finally arrived in 1865, Granger's official announcement was met with great jubilation throughout the black community. At the time, around 250,000 people were still enslaved in Texas. Among the black and white troops who came to Galveston to enforce the Union's dictates was William Cosley, who with his 2 sisters and mother had been the first enslaved people freed by a then newly minted lawyer named Abraham Lincoln in 1841. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many of you have ever heard in full the Emancipation Proclamation. I heard it for the first time, believe it or not, and I'm a lawyer, last year at my brother's event. He did a Juneteenth celebration in his backyard, and that's where all of this came into fruition. Very exciting. I would like to introduce right now our reenactors from today. So we had Freed, and from Freed we had Charlotte Scott, played by Marcia E. Cole. We had a nameless, faceless woman of the Civil War, portrayed by Bobby Coles. Frances Ann Rollin, portrayed by Carol F. Gordon. Hallie Quinn Brown was portrayed by Patricia A. Tyson. And Harriet Ann Jacobs, portrayed by Kristen Bennett. And from the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry, we've had Clinton Scott, private, presenting the life of a black Civil War soldier. Bernie Seiler, private, presenting a historical novel. Kelly Washington, first sergeant, presenting the weapons display in the back. Mike Hill, corporal, presenting the medical instrument display. And that is our historical reenactment. Thank you so much, and bless all of you. Okay, at this time, we are going to have a libation. So let me explain what a libation is. Libation is a ritual pouring of a liquid or grains such as rice as an offering to God or a spirit or in memory of the dead. It is a practice of Africa, and libation in Africa is a ritual of heritage. We enter into this undertaking in order to recognize and proclaim the existence and superiority of God Almighty, to honor our ancestors and invite them to be with us in spirit, and to submit and obtain God's blessings for our people. Libation is both sacred and communal, and pouring libation promotes respect for elders and the ancestors, as well as hope, healing, unity, and harmony, all through the reinforcement of common bonds. Now, we're going to call out some names of ancestors to honor them. And there is a saying that folks often, African heritage especially, often say. It is called Ashe. Can I hear all of you say it? Ashe. Oh, that was kind of weak. I'm going to try it again. You're going to say Ashe. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Thank you. Ashe. And Ashe simply means I'm in agreement with you. It's kind of like amen. It means so be it. Okay? So after I call a name, I'm going to ask all of you, as our village community of Kensington today, to say the word Ashe. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. You guys are ready. I'm excited. All right. Hold on just 1 second, and we will begin. Oh, let me also share with you that as part of this libation ceremony, we have one of the original records of listing of slaves in Montgomery County, courtesy of the Maryland State Archives. So I am going to read some names from that, because we must remember and acknowledge that, quite frankly, we are standing right now on a lot of farmland, what were farmlands back in the day. And there were a lot of enslaved peoples who were working this farmland. This Maryland, this is my home state, by the way, y'all. I'm originally from here. This was a divided state. There were those who were pro-slavery, and there were those who were against it. And as many of you know, the Mason-Dixon line went through Maryland. It is often hard to find the actual names of the enslaved persons, and that's why it is exciting for us to be able to share with you just a few that we have had right here in Montgomery County. And again, it's courtesy of the Maryland State Archives. So if you just bear with us for a moment, we will engage in the official libation ceremony. If I could have your attention, please. This is a sacred moment. This is a communal moment. I will first read the names that I told you before of enslaved peoples from Montgomery County at the time of the adoption of the Constitution, 1864. Remember your cue. After I say a name, I need you to say Ashe. Let me hear you say it. Ashe. Ashe. Beautiful. First, I wish to honor Alice Brown, female, age 48. Basil Brown, male, 28. Margaret Brown, female, 26. Samuel Brown, male, age 24. All right, Frank Brown, male, age 20. Maria Brown, female, 18. Oh, see, that's our trade-off. Get another helper. Joseph Brown, male, age 16. Eliza Brown, female, age 14. James Brown, male, age 10. William Brown, male, age 8. Mary Brown, female, age 6. Charles Brown, male, age 3, y'all. Robert Brown, male, 10 months old. At this time, I'm going to take a personal liberty because we often call our family ancestors. So I'm going to first call out my husband, Reverend Jerome Robinson, his mother, who passed away a few years ago, Betty Robinson, Ashe. I'm going to call my grandparents, Moses and Sarah Olney Boston, Ashe. And on my maternal side, Flora and Hugh Herndon, Ashe. I want to invite you right now. You're going to call out the names of your ancestors. It doesn't matter what race you are. We're the human race today. This is communal. I need you to send out the names of your ancestors whom you wish to honor right now. Call them out. Ashe. 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 Call out those names, y'all. Bless them. Nita, Ashe. 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 Okay, now I'm going to call out some names of folks whom you probably know. Some famous folks I'd wish to honor on this day. I'm going to call out the name of Harriet Tubman.
Ashe.
I'm calling out the name of Martin Luther King Jr.
Ashe.
I'm calling out the name of Malcolm X.
Ashe.
I'm calling out the name of Frederick Douglass.
Ashe.
I'm calling out the name of Mary McLeod Bethune. I'm calling out the name of Nelson Mandela from South Africa.
Ashe.
And also Bishop Tutu.
Ashe.
I'm also going to call someone more recent who was near and dear to me, and that is Congressman John Lewis.
Ashe.
I'll give you one more chance, folks. Say the names of famous people, if you will, whom we wish to honor today. Call out those names. Rosa Parks, Ashe. Elijah Cummings, Ashe. I couldn't hear. Did you hear? Josiah Henson, Ashe. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Ashe. Thank you.
Say it loud.
Say it louder. John Brown, Ashe. Any others? This is your last chance.
Langston Hughes.
Langston Hughes, Ashe. Maya Angelou, Ashe. All right. Jackie Robinson, Ashe. Muhammad Ali, Ashe.
Thurgood Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall, how could I forget? Ashe. All right, I think we've done a good job. Now we're going to all say Ashe together 3 times to end this. And I bless you, and I thank all of you for helping us to honor the ancestors. On the count of 3, we're going to say Ashe 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Ashe! Ashe! Ashe!
All right, all. Thank you for this indulgence. Those of you who don't know the story about how this Juneteenth celebration came about, essentially came from an event in my backyard last summer. The event was wholly inspired by these 2 little girls you see up here. This is my oldest, Flora, and my baby girl, Ella. We're here today because of them. And I had a father about a year or 2 ago, we were talking, pre-COVID I guess it was, and he said, you know, as a dad, and particularly we have Father's Day, happy Father's Day to all you dads out here, I want to be the first man to give my daughter everything, whether it's the first limo ride, whether it's the first rose. And so because they are the inspiration, I worked hard on this program, but they were the inspiration. I did the Juneteenth celebration in my backyard because I wanted to teach my children about our history, Black history, American history, and I wanted to do it in a way that was fun, but yet powerful. And so I wanted them to know about Juneteenth early on in life, unlike myself, who learned years later. So they were the inspiration. They are the center of this and the foundation. So I wanted to take this moment to say thank you to them. I love them, and I just think the best of them. So here are your roses.
Okay, we now have a special treat for you. Her name is Emma G., a TEDx speaker, singer, songwriter, and youth empowerment coach. Emma G. has been using the power of music to empower, uplift, and motivate audiences worldwide her entire life. Born with a rare neurological condition called hydrocephalus, Emma G has used music to recover from multiple traumas, including, listen to this, y'all, 10 brain surgeries, by writing and singing her truth, sharing her experiences, and turning her lessons into blessings. Amen. With a unique style that marries the styles of pop, soulful ballads, and a gritty rock edge, Emma G's style appeals to a hugely diverse audience worldwide. A favorite musician of the Washington Post, Washingtonian Magazine, and Thrive Global, the New Zealand-born singer-songwriter has expanded her mission of saving the world one song at a time to incorporate her history as an award-winning youth worker launching Yes Youth Coaching. Youth empowerment through songwriting coaching is a completely new approach to youth work, combining Emma G's history as a teacher, lecturer, YMCA youth coordinator, and of course, an award-winning musician. Music is an incredibly effective tool for alchemy, helping audiences and teen songwriters alike overcome struggles, trauma, stress, and overwhelm with songs of overcoming, resilience, self-love, and stepping into one's power. If we need anything right now, we need healing after COVID. It's not over, but we're still dealing, but you know what I mean. So I'm very excited personally to have some healing from none other than Emma G.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, friends. I know we are running a bit late today, or behind time, but I call it fashionably late, or if you will. Can you hear my guitar? No? You can? It's kind of? Yes? Okay, perfect. So, thank you for that beautiful introduction. Today I'm going to take on a brief journey through my life, through my thoughts, through my feelings. This first song is a song that I wrote specifically in 2018 to celebrate diversity. Celebrate diversity not just as a word, but also as a superpower. Acknowledging that together we really can achieve more. That together, when we join forces, we can get things done. Together, when we celebrate our differences and our similarities, we can really overcome, achieve, and be the best superheroes we can. More on that later. So this is a song called Together We Rise. I hope you like it. Have I done enough? Do I make it up? And know I've dreamt about this for so long. Am I good enough to carry on an empty page? My doubting brain, though I know it's what I need to do. Can I bear my soul and live my truth? I read it line after line. If I'm here with this story in mind, I feel it beat in my heart, coursing through my veins. The magic of fear is starting to rise again, breaking the walls we built in our minds. The magic of love is together we rise. Together we rise. Have I found my tribe? Share this messy ride, comparing notes and written dreams. We're the authors of our destiny. A leap of faith, though they call us brave. Become a lighter without truth. Magic in us pulses through. We better take those lines. I got your back and I know you got mine. I feel it beat in my heart, coursing through my veins. The magic of fear starting to rise again, breaking the walls
to the higher power of you and I. Together we rise, beating my heart, coursing through my veins. The magic of fear is starting to rise again, breaking the walls we built in our minds. The magic of love is together we rise. Together we rise. Together we, together we, together we rise. Together we, together we, together we rise. Together we, together we, together we rise. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, like you know, I was originally born in New Zealand to a white American mother from Erie, Pennsylvania, and a Fijian father. My grandfather was from Iran. My grandmother was from Norway. So I like to tell people that I'm overcoming racism in one body. So it only made sense that I move here to the nation's capital back in 2015 when I actually ended up here on a road trip gone wrong. I was meant to be, I don't know, living in New York or LA, I told myself, but I was on a road trip to Indiana, broke down in New York State, ended up in Rockville, and tried my first hand at street performing for the first time with my guitar in September of 2015. That's when I decided this is where God wants me to be. This is where the universe wants me to be. This is where Source has led me. So I decided to move here in November 2015 and started my living here as a street performer. I got up at 4:45 every morning to sing for the grumpy people on their way to work. To try, I'm kidding, they weren't really grumpy, but I tried my best. I tried my best to turn those frowns upside down and, you know, acknowledge that every moment that we wake up, we are faced with a choice to be positive and to lead with love or to not. And one of the best things that I could do as a musician, as a singer-songwriter, is maybe reach out to that person, to each person, and remind them that we're human. That even though we live in the age of information technology, we can still have connection, because connection, community, and love is really what is going to bring us together and lead us through whatever trials and tribulations. So to that extent, I wrote a song called I Can See You, and I hope you enjoy it. Caught hanging from a thread, wanting to start again. Lips painted red, smiles suffocating hope, losing all control in the rock and roll. Drunk all the dreams, needing to believe, needing to be seen. When you close your eyes against the cold, just know I'm here, and I can say you. When your voice fades in the noise, why it's okay, I am here, and I can say you, friend, in a sea of gray, told to just obey, and never question faith. Smile, suffocating hope, losing your control in the rock and roll. Drunk, well, so drunk on a dream of needing to believe, needing to be seen. When you close your eyes against the cold, just know I am here. Yeah, I can see you when your voice fades in the noise. Why it's okay, I am here. Yeah, I can see you. So lost in the clouds, lost in the sound, but I hear you now. When you close your eyes against the cold, just know I am here. Yeah, I can see you when your voice fades in the noise. Why it's okay, I am here. Yeah, I can say when you close your eyes against the cold, just know I am here. And I can see you when your voice fades in the noise. Why it's okay, I am here. Yeah, I can see you. Thank you very much. So it's interesting because, as mentioned in my bio, I have been writing songs and making up songs since I was 3. And I've been writing songs since I was 5 with a hit single I like to call School is Cool. I was a geek and I will totally own that. But songwriting has been one of the tools that I've used to help myself not just communicate with my family and friends, but also just kind of deal with my own understandings of life. See, we all experience trauma differently. And having my first brain surgery at the age of 4 months old, trauma for me was very different to what it is for a lot of other people. However, it wasn't until I set myself a 30-day write a song a day challenge last year that I actually gave myself permission to start really actively looking at myself and healing those parts of myself through the art of songwriting. So this next song is called Miss Me With That. It is dedicated to every single person who has misconstrued, misunderstood, or blatantly disregarded my experiences and everyone else's experiences, because at the end of the day, everyone can judge one another, but as far as those judgment goes towards me, you can miss me with that. Looking in the mirror, it's funny how I take lessons from the pain, trying to find the meaning in all the gray. I know you can't fight against the rain, and goodness knows I try not to go against the grain, but I will never ask permission out of my way, 'cause every tear holds a key. There's grit in my scream. I've been to hell and back, no, you hate can claim me. Every scar is a badge from every trauma I've had. I've been to hell and back, you can miss me with that. I've had it with the judgments. It's funny how you put limits on my soul, turning into a garden. They're all the same, I know. We all fear what we don't know. And goodness knows I try not to go against the grain, but I will never tear holds a key. There's grit in my scream. I'll be in a hell and back. No, your hate won't claim me. Every scar is a badge from every trauma I've had. I'll be in a hell and back. You can miss me with that. And all you see is sick when I say survive. Well, I've taken over his, yeah, I'm still alive. I may not be the norm, but you know I hit back. I don't need your permission, miss me with that. Cause every tear holds a key. There's grit in my scream. I'll be in a hell and back. No, your hate won't claim me. Every scar is a badge from every trauma I've had. I'll be in a hell and back. You can miss me with that. Every tear holds a key. There's grit in my scream. I'll be in a hell and back. No, your hate won't claim me. Every scar is a badge from every trauma I've had. I'll be in a hell and back. You can miss me with that. Thank you. So one of the other things that I discovered about myself as I was doing this Write a Song a Day challenge for 30 days straight through the month of February last year was I was really using music, found myself able to use music in a way that I hadn't understood quite before. Because, you see, I say when I'm in alignment, when I'm totally in the zone, when I'm able to write songs, I'm learning everything every day more and more about myself. And this next song is not just a song about my own experiences and learning, but I think a song for everybody that I've been able to communicate and connect with over the last 6.5 years that I've been living in Washington, D.C. I moved here very New Zealand, very Kiwi, very naive, very green. And to the extent that I remember one time I was going to go street perform at GW Hospital. Somebody asked me if I was a sister. I thought they were asking if I was a nun. Didn't know. To the point where I even did a show with Dave Chappelle in 2018, introduced myself, said, "Hi, I'm Emma G. What's your name?" Didn't know. However, as I'm learning more and more about what it is like to live in this country, I am finding I'm leaning into songwriting as not just my thoughts and processes, but as my hope and prayer to challenge every single person that I meet to lead with love, to lead with kindness, to lead with understanding, empathy, compassion. So this next song is called You Can't Hear Me. It is on my latest album called I Am, and I hope that gets you in the feelings a little bit. Running around in circles, is it my purpose is less than you? And with every single hurdle, I have to prove that I'm good. And we're dancing in the gray, throwing out abuse, refuse to meet halfway, refuse to call a truce. So I'm breaking my back, you're breaking the rules, riding eye for eye, bending the truth. It's either white or black, there's no in between, fighting tooth and nail to finally be free. You won't hear me, you won't see me, you won't hear me, you won't see me. As if ever going backwards, they'll say you're far away. Though you say the right words, it's not what your actions say. So skating on thin ice, throwing out abuse, breaking my back, you're breaking the rules, fighting eye for eye, bending the truth. It's either white or black, there's no in between, fighting tooth and nail to finally be free. You won't hear me, you won't see me, you won't hear me, you won't see me, you won't hear me. I'm running round in circles, you won't see me. The purpose is less than you won't hear me. Though you say the right words, you won't see me. It's not what your actions do. Thank you. I have time for 2 more songs really quickly, and I just want to say thank you to the Kensington community for involving me in today's celebration of Juneteenth. It's such an important holiday. Obviously, I don't need to point that out to you, but I'm so pleased to know that it is a nationally recognized holiday now, so props to America. Thank you so much. Again, I am still new to this experience. I'm still new to living here. I've only been here for 7 years in the States. And like I mentioned, my family dynamic is very diverse. My family in Iowa is Norwegian. My family in LA is Persian. And I am here in Washington, D.C. doing what I can to spread love, spread empowerment, spread compassion. And this next song, thank you, this next song I wrote in Colorado after a very thorough conversation that did not take much. I don't know, I don't think before I speak sometimes. And I ended up in in Salida, Colorado, having a relatively heated debate about, some of the background of this beautiful country we are proud to live in. But after this conversation, I ended up going back to my hotel room and really thinking and praying and channeling as much as I can to, I don't know, somehow come up with this next song. So this next one is a song that was released in 2018. It is on my Taking Flight album. My CDs are for sale, for donation. Pay what you feel is fair. It doesn't matter. Just take it, enjoy it, live it, love it, whatever. But this song is called Superhero. It is my prayer, my hope for America to recognize your inner superpowers. For me personally, those superpowers include love, radical compassion, radical empathy, and trying my best to really see people. So I hope you enjoy this. If I could wish away the pain, I would. If I could win it all away, I would. I'd be the voice of passion on a midnight train. I'd bend over backwards to push away the pain. Since I've this madness we rise. Inside this madness we fight. When the angels open their eyes, how their hearts break to realize all of the mistakes we've made at what price. Where's our superhero tonight? If I could free it from its burden, I would. If I could help it feel deserving of everything good, and be the voice of passion in a world so cold. I'd bend over backwards to change inside this madness we find. When the angels open their eyes, how their hearts break to realize all of the mistakes we made at what price. Where's our superhero tonight? If I could free you from this pain, I would hold on so tightly. If I could be your superhero, yeah. When the angels open their eyes, how their hearts break to realize all of the mistakes we made at what price. Where's our superhero tonight? When the angels open their eyes, how their hearts break to realize all of the mistakes we made at what price. Where's our superhero tonight? Thank you very much. And this last song for the for this evening, this afternoon, for this event, I guess. Again, my name is Emma G. You can follow me, Emma G Music, on all social media, except for TikTok. I'm Emma G Speaks. And that's because I do speaking as well as music together, because I like to make sure that we hit it from all sides. You feel empowered both holistically, spiritually, and verbally. So if you want to follow me, feel free. Otherwise, there's more information about what I do at emmagmusic.com. There are CDs available for sale. There are cards. There are pens. There is my new book called Reconnect with Your Teenager, A Parent's Guide to Helping Your Stressed or Anxious Kid Through the Art of Songwriting. And to that extent, this last song is a song that I wrote called The Wolf I Feed. I was honored to play this as part of my TED Talk back in February, which is now up online on YouTube. But basically, this song is based on the Native American tale of the two wolves that live inside of each of us. The story goes that a grandfather is talking to his grandson about our decision making and our abilities to make decisions. He says that every day we have two wolves inside of us that are constantly battling. One is the wolf of love, compassion, faith, hope. The other is the wolf of anger, fear, bitterness, and everything negative. The grandson looks up at his grandfather all concerned and asks, well, if these two wolves are battling, which wolf wins? The grandfather responds, the wolf that you feed. Tearing down the violence, getting who I was, confronted by a darkness I forgot to be afraid of. And still on my head high, kill fear with a smile to fight against the storm. Locked inside the cages, this madness in my mind. To build a better new, we gotta tear down these walls. The only way is through, and leading from the heart. If the darkness starts with me, then I will do things differently. It's about the wolf I feed, poised for a battle. Chaos or peace of mind, running round in circles. It's about the wolf I feed. I haven't broke down yet. I make this wolf my friend. I'm brave enough and ready to forgive myself and leave my fears behind. I'm taking back my life, my peace of mind, to build a better new. We gotta tear down these walls. The only way is through, and we'll lead it from the heart. If the darkness starts with me, then I will do things differently. It's about the wolf I feed. It's about the wolf I feed. It's about the wolf I feed. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe, be kind, spread love like it's going out of fashion. My name is Emma G. Peace.
One more time, I want to give a special thanks to our sponsors. Legacy sponsors, Town of Kensington and DC Rental. Freedom sponsors, Kensington Historical Society and Montgomery County. Unity sponsors, Baby Cat Brewery, Connecticut Bel Air Swim and Tennis Club, The Dish and Dram, Kensington Neighbors, Roaming Darling, Mike's Move, and Serve Pro. And Hope sponsors, Christ Episcopal Church of Kensington, Edward Jones and Paul Sexton, Frankly Pizza, Kensington Ken, McIerney Associates Realtors with Mark Hudson, Radical Math Coach, Spring Bilingual Montessori Academy, and the following individuals: Darren Bartram, Jamie Boston, Ann Lichter, and Patty Poss. We also thank Safeway and Drink More Water for their product donations. Yay! It has been a blast. I came down here from New York City. I had a wonderful time. Thank you, Jamie, dear brother, baby brother, for inviting me. It's been such a pleasure being your MC. Now, this is a secret between us, okay? Don't tell my law firm partners I was moonlighting today. All right, had a great time. Happy Juneteenth. This is about family fun with a purpose. And now we're gonna end it with the leaders, the organizers. Give them a great round of applause for all of their hard work, please.
Thank you to everybody. I wanted to bring Ann out one more time because Ann was my right-hand person. Everybody wants to give me credit, but she did so much. I just want to thank her publicly, as well as an exceptional group of volunteers. I can't tell you what everybody did to make this come together. So to all the volunteers, thank you again personally, but just thank you for all your work. I appreciate you all coming out. Hopefully we'll do this again next year, bigger and better. Tell your friends, and write us online so we can see what we can do to make it better. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy Father's Day. And I don't know if Ann has a word or two to say.
All I want to do is say thank you for being here. Thank you, Jamie, for bringing us together. And thank you, Mayor Tracy Furman, wherever you are, who is always ready to say yes and make an event happen for the community. So thank you.
Thanks. Enjoy.